I remember posting on my Twitter account that I'm glad that Will actually did what he did, not because of having to check Chris Rock for what he said about Jada Pinkett Smith, despite how many people might feel about her, but he literally opened up a can of worms, and inside of that can was Pandora's box. And now that is open as well. Or maybe you can reflip it and say he opened up Pandora's box and inside of it was a can of worms. Because everybody has been getting besides themselves this week, or in this past week, depending on when this video gets out there, about what's been going on with the whole situation. Now, this guy right here managed to attack Will Smith and Jada in one tweet without having to mention Will Smith. Now, what's crazy is this guy didn't even have the balls to even mention Will Smith's name, but we know he's talking about him because he's doing it through his wife. Now, this guy's name is Tom Segura. I've never heard of him. He has a blue check. Apparently, he's some comedian. But look at what he posted on his page. He said, "The bitch been bald. Jokes about it or her are fine. It was tame as fuck. You super sensitive about it? Buy a fucking wig." Now notice all the pictures that he's posted of her. You can tell these pictures had to be very recent. Because if you look at these pictures right here of her and look at how she appeared on Sunday at the Oscars, they look relatively recent. Because, you know, with her having the alopecia and everything, because when she was diagnosed with the alopecia, she didn't immediately shave her head. She still had her hair. It was just thinning. You could tell it was starting to thin. It wasn't as thick anymore. But you can look at this and tell that this was more recent, maybe probably within the last year or so. So he found this collage of pictures of her, and I have to say that Jada does not look bad in any of these images. As a matter of fact, the one at the top right, she almost looks how she did back in the 90s a little bit. She really looks like her mother right there, honestly. If you look at Jada's mother and look at her, they look like twins. At least in this picture right here, because her mother looks very good for her age, because I think her mother is, I want to say, probably in her 70s, but she does not look it at all. But he decided to say this right here, and then had the nerve to call her a bitch right there. I was looking at the comments and people were saying, Will, you may need to pull up on this guy right here. Now, this guy right here, he did way worse than Chris Rock, because at least Chris Rock didn't call her out of her name, like calling her a B. This guy did. He was bold enough to get on there and say this, and this is exactly why many of us have been saying that Chris Rock has been allowing these PC individuals who are quote unquote comedians get away with things, because he's pretty much opened the door for them to say it. Remember, y'all just saw the video, the refresher that I did about him, you know, allowing Louis C.K. and Ricky Gervais to say the N-word right in front of him more than once. Now it has opened the door for people like this Tom Segura guy, who's clearly looking for attention, to call this woman out of her name, who he most likely doesn't even know. She doesn't know him, and Will doesn't know him. But if they wanted to, they could come down hard at him just for this tweet alone. Now, I don't know if this tweet is still up and active on his page, but you know, the internet, you know, they can get a screenshot. Just like with Judd Apatow and what he said, and people got the screenshot before he deleted his tweet. But like I said, this week, people have been really showing their natural ass. And this is what it has steamrolled into. And that's what me, Harvey, Nicole's View, and so many others who have been talking about this. This is bigger than Will Smith going on stage and slapping Chris Rock for being, in his eyes, disrespectful to his wife. But the thing is, so many people are harping only on what he did, but they're not talking about what people are saying after the fact, like this. Now you're segueing into a realm that's gone beyond what happened on that stage on Sunday night. Now you're heading into an area of being absolutely distasteful, very, very racist, very disturbing, and disgusting. Because now it's no longer about Will Smith and the Chris Rock thing. Now you're going and attacking now you're his wife. That could then lead into maybe them attacking his children. But then what they're going to say is, well, if Will hadn't did it, then we wouldn't have said it. No, if you're mad at Will Smith, be mad at him. Don't come for his family, because they have nothing to do with this. Sure, Jada is a part of it, but if you're going to be mad, go after Will. Because when you start going after the family, now you're taking it to another escalating level. And at that point, Will needs to, let me put it this way. This time, Segura, who, I don't care to pronounce this motherfucker's name correctly. I just heard about him today, and I really don't give a damn about him, but I just had to talk about this. If Will was you wanted to, had a reason to hit somebody, here's his reason right here. And this one does not require an open hand. This is a close, clenched fist. I'm talking about knocking his head back like a goddamn Pez dispenser. And the thing about it is, these individuals got all this courage online to say this stuff, but wouldn't dare bust a grape in a fruit fight. They would never walk to Will Smith and say this to what he just said to his face. And you know what's so crazy? Will Smith, you know what they're really mad about? Is because Will Smith, as a black man, got up in front of the world on an international platform, the Oscars, that was airing everywhere around the globe, and smacked the man for what he saw as disrespectful to his wife. Many of them wouldn't have the balls to even do that. Look at Terry Crews. A white man juggled his balls in front of his wife, and he didn't even chase that man down to even pluck his ass. Serena Williams, the husband she got now, she didn't fight. He didn't fight for her when someone tried to steal her purse or whatever it was. If y'all remember, I think they were on a date, and he took her bag while because I think she had her bag on the table, and some random person came up and took it. She had to chase him down to get her stuff back. It reminded me of that scene from White Chicks, when they were already dressed up as the white chicks, and one of the it was a robber that stole Sean Wayne's bag, and he said he had his gun and his badge in there, or his badge or something in there, and he chased him down. That kind of what it reminded me of. Of course, we know Serena is not a white woman, but when I heard about that, that's exactly what it reminded me of. And I remember seeing, I think, with some surveillance footage of that, because a camera caught it. She chased this person down to get her stuff back. Meanwhile, her now husband was just sitting there. He didn't do shit. But yeah, this guy, this Tom Segura guy, he's a piece of shit. And he's clearly seeking attention. He has a blue check, but no one knows who he is, so he had to put this out here. He said it was tame as F. Of course, they're going to think that. A lot of the stuff that they think that comes out and is said about black people is tame, but when it's said about them, then it's supposed to be taken seriously. It makes me wonder, what did he have to say about Whoopi Goldberg and her alleged anti-Semitic comics that got her a 2-week suspension from The View? And he said, you are super sensitive about it. Buy a effing wig. See, that was a dig. Not only it was a dig at Will Smith, but it was a dig at her. He told this woman who has alopecia, if she feels some type of way about it, go buy a wig. And he said she's been bald. Jada has never been bald. She's had a low cut, but the low cut does not mean bald. Bald is, what this looks like right here. But hell, not even that, because bald would be like Michael Jordan, or, Stone Cold Steve Austin, or The Rock. The people that actually have no hair, like barely hair follicles. They have hair follicles, but they have to shave it to keep that bald look. Vin Diesel's another one. That's what I consider to be bald. But Jada has always had hair. It's like she just usually rocked the shortcut, and every now and then, one time I think she did have long hair, she wore her weaves or whatever it was at one point. But it's not like she chose to look like this. She has alopecia, so in order to not walk around with spots in her head, she just shaved it all off. But yeah, this Tom Segura guy, fuck him. He is a bitch-made, palm-colored, hook-nosed, gonzo-looking, trash can, dumpster diving piece of shit. And he looks it in his avatar. And I think I saw a picture of him. This guy's bald his damn self. Or he's barely holding on to whatever hair follicles that he has with his Homer Simpson impersonating looking ass.